Thank you very much, Mayor. We are glad to be in Houston. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by thanking Gerald Hines, who is graciously serving as the honorary meeting chairman for this very successful meeting. Even among ULI's distinguished membership, Jerry has few peers. His extraordinary work exemplifies all that ULI holds up as innovative and visionary. We've all benefited from his wisdom, his vision, and his leadership in advancing ULI's mission. We're very grateful for his support at our spring meeting this year. Thank you, Jerry. I also want to recognize the hard work of other volunteers who are making our meeting such a success. A big thanks is owed to the hard work of the program committee, chaired by Mary Ludgen, and also to the meeting strategy committee, chaired by Laura Lee Martin. And of course, the host committee, who has put together this wonderful program, chaired by Jonathan Brinston and Tom Owens. And as you saw just a few minutes ago, our ULI Houston District Council, chaired by Carlton Reiser, has been hugely supportive of all the efforts that they've gone to make us have a wonderful time here in Houston. And a special thanks to the sponsors of this meeting and to each and every one of you for your participation and engagement in the discussions this week. Thank you for your support of ULI. It has been an honor and privilege and truly a joy to serve as ULI Global Chairman for the past 2 years. My timing was definitely fortuitous. The US economy has been strengthening, the real estate markets have been active, and ULI was poised to both grow and advance its mission. The topics relevant to advancing our mission, rapid urbanization and densification, resilience and sustainability, housing and infrastructure, are front and center with public officials, our business leaders, our real estate industry, and the world at large, like never before. During this period, throughout all ULI networks around the world, we have emphasized two important topics for urban development. First, building for health, and second, resilient communities. We've progressed the work in both of these areas, from first increasing awareness to evidencing the business case, and now to specific implementable action ideas. The recently released Building Healthy Places Toolkit, which is available at this meeting, and our After Sandy report, which was delivered 2 years ago, provide our members and our communities with practical examples of how to build with health in mind and how to reduce the impacts of unavoidable catastrophes. Another key area of focus over the past 2 years has been knowledge sharing. In this regard, we are vastly expanding and improving ways for members to connect virtually, allowing for an easier, faster, more efficient exchange of ideas and information. Over the past 2 years, at nearly every ULI gathering, we have discussed conversations about changes in demographics, technology advancements, environmental issues, health and wellness, and geopolitics. Changes which are truly transformational, both in the terms of the magnitude of those changes and also the speed at which they are occurring today. The pace of these changes will only accelerate and be more impactful over the coming decade. And so I want to share with you today the highlight of my 2 years as ULI's steward, which occurred in early February of this year. For the first time, ULI convened its global leaders, leaders from Asia, Australia, continental Europe, the UK, and North America, to meet outside the United States. We met in Paris, and I am deeply appreciative of all of those who traveled so far to dedicate their time to this endeavor. Important about this convening was shifting the talk about changes to talk about visioning the built environment necessary to accommodate these transformational changes, and the actions required by us, our industry, our companies, and us individually to create this new built environment. Let's take a look at what happened in Paris.
Around the world, our communities are constantly changing, ever expanding, ever improving, ever changing to reflect the different ways people live, work, and play. ULI and its members are committed to guiding this certain change. In 2015, nearly 150 senior industry leaders were invited to Paris to participate in ULI's first ever Trustees and Key Leadership meeting.
He's transformed Rome, in some ways pedestrianizing famous boulevards.
Their goal, to examine the transformational changes underway in our modern world and create a vision and action plan for the future of our industry that touches on key themes of leadership, technology, investment, housing, regulation, flexibility, respecting our natural resources, education, and outreach.
We are changing our habits.
Solving the new leadership equation, if you remember nothing else, remember this. You have to focus more management time and attention on those right brain skills of social interaction, empathy, and creativity.
Discussions of rapidly changing technology and its influence on urban infrastructures around the world abounded at the midwinter meeting.
You know, the speed of change it's accelerating. When you get rapid change, it's far more difficult to understand what the implications are and how to deal with it.
As shared financial interests continue to grow across continents, ULI members at the midwinter meeting examined how to help promote a free flow of ideas to investors around the world.
In the emerging markets, in particular, I think the densification issue for ULI members is really core to sustainability issues, but also investment issues.
Meeting attendees discussed the need to improve affordable and accessible housing in order to cultivate thriving communities.
Demographics, I think, has always been a big driver for market, but we're really only just learning about it and the impact it has on property. And the more we learn about demographics, the more we'll understand the property needs. And I think that really is the challenge for real estate.
We've got a massive population boom and an insatiable need for more connectivity.
We have incubators, we have accelerators, we have proof of concept labs, and we're really starting to see that edge that I think a city wants with its younger people that keeps it really vibrant and looking sharp.
A city is going to be environmentally friendly if a city works.
Urban advancement is tied to the impact of governance, and leaders at the midwinter meeting emphasized the need to create new public-private collaborations that serve both the public and the industry.
You've got to get at the table and you've got to show how a city can finance a lot of this stuff itself. And I believe that tax increment financing is the way forward.
Attendees also highlighted another problem plaguing many modern cities, the lack of flexibility.
Our view of the future is that we don't produce a national top-down plan as to how care is to be delivered in the future. Our view is that we set out what we think are better models of care that will be more efficient and better wrapped around patients, but that they will be designed in localities.
At the meeting, leaders discussed how this philosophy of flexibility extends beyond just adaptability in urban environments to embracing and respecting our natural resources.
Sustainability and resilience and climate change. These issues are absolutely crucial for the future. Therefore, we really need to know about this stuff and change the way in which we work.
Simply developing new understandings of the ever-changing urban landscape is not enough, however. That's why education and outreach remain an important component of ULI's work.
In addition to smart regulation, we're going to need a host of creative new policy reforms and also new cross-industry fora to debate and share best practices, as you've been doing here.
Through discussions at the midwinter meeting, ULI sparked the beginnings of a new action agenda, a new set of ideas that will guide the industry and the modern world going forward.
If you can build cities that work, cities that make sense, cities where I can walk to work, those are the cities that are going to work.
Transport infrastructure is crucial.
Coming up here, it's been very, very fruitful because I'm listening to a lot of leaders and experts in our industry. I think these are all tremendously valuable.
By anticipating change, we embrace change and build tomorrow's world.
Well, there's a small taste of why so many of these 150 leaders have told us that this was the best event that they have been to and the most valuable content, bar none, of any of their ULI events over 40 years. We set a high bar for this meeting. The goal was to identify actions for each of those 8 themes of change. This is what distinguished this meeting from other discussions, a shift from observing what is happening to determining what we must do about it. Let me take one of the themes, flexibility, to share with you the actions which these leaders developed. The theme of flexibility involves making real estate projects and financial instruments more flexible to accommodate a range of needs and possible simultaneous uses, and which can be adapted as these needs and uses evolve. The actions our leadership group developed for the flexibility theme included designing buildings to easily adapt to different uses over time. For example, designing warehouses to be used perhaps as temporary housing or as office space, and designing retail and warehouses which can be transformed to meet changing consumer purchasing and delivery demands. They also said that we should develop leasing arrangements to allow for changes in occupiers' business circumstances and purposes. And most important of all, our leaders said that companies must allocate dedicated resources for innovation and experimentation. They need to track the results of those experiments and share the lessons that have been learned. Did we achieve our goal? Did we articulate clear and actionable plans for each of you to implement in your business? No surprise, but very honestly, not entirely. That was truly an aspirational goal. But we have a strong start to the conversation. The meeting has already catalyzed initiatives ULI is now launching to engage you, our members, in further development of these action ideas. ULI plans to advance this work over the coming year, focusing on a 4-part agenda. ULI will be a catalyst for increasing the ideas about flexibility, which we now call Building for Change. We will also increase our programs for developing leaders in our industry. We will increase also our facilitation of public-private conversations and dialogue. And we will continue to enhance our knowledge management. Our first step will be creating a new online community for active member participation. We'll start with the big idea of building for change, and we will have you, the members, participating in this online conversation, expand that topic organically to new ideas and new themes as you find appropriate. ULI will encourage us to get outside of our comfort zone, and with your involvement, we will model and advocate new approaches and share practical, actionable examples that can be replicated easily. This action agenda is about positioning ULI to do what it does best, and that is to help our members understand how to adapt and how to excel in times that promise great upheaval, but also great opportunities. I'm leaving the chairmanship more convinced than ever that ULI's proposition of leadership, impact, and knowledge sharing is a priceless benefit to our members. Through this proposition, we will ensure that ULI remains the preeminent voice for visionary community building during this era of change. And ULI will be our members' go-to source of practical, implementable ideas to advance their businesses. I'm very pleased to leave you in the excellent hands of incoming Global Chairman Randy Rowe, who will be an outstanding steward of ULI during these exciting times for our industry and for the Institute. Thank you very much.